So we're going to have a look at the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones because they look very toppy right now, and we're going to see exactly what I think the chart is telling us. So let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, so what I'm looking at now is I'm looking at several different screens. The first screen I want you to keep your eyes on is this one here. This is the daily S&P 500 chart, and by looking at this chart here and by seeing what's happening, we can see that we had like a bit of a down, possibly even a small down day at this level of support, but we had this big volume spike. Now it's very interesting we get the volume spike, but it held this level of support, and we still are holding that level of support where we are right now. If we take everything off the screen, we're holding this level here, and it's definitely struggling to break that level. It's definitely struggling to break this level through here. We're not out of the woodworks yet, but everything is pointing for actually a reversal to the downside. But as I've said in many cases, that if we start to break above this high here, then we're likely to have a good race to back up to the high side. But it does look like it's faltering through here. And what I mean by faltering is it does look like it's starting to weakening through here. We've got the stochastics oversold, and we've got a big volume spike. If we have a look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones, you can actually see on the Dow Jones chart that once again it's also pointing over. It's also got a big volume spike. So lots of volume today, but not much movement. So obviously something's happening. It's the 1st of December. Something's happening within this market, and yeah, generally that volume spike, which is quite a decent spike, generally leads to more movement in that direction. And so as you can see, this was a spike, and the market moved in that direction. You got a spike in volume back here, and then the market moved in that direction. So you generally get a move in that direction. So the movement is likely to be down. The Russell has actually also had a nice run to the high side, and it's looking toppy where we are right now with the stochastics. So it looks like a nice turning point as well. Going back through the Nasdaq had a big an outside day, still hovering around these resistance levels as such as a double top formation. And again, the stochastics and the volume. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a pullback in the markets, and especially if you go back in the last 2 Decembers, you see that we actually had a pullback in those months. For the first half of December, the last 2 years, we've had a pullback, and then we've had the Christmas rally. So that's that one there. Looking at, say, the transportation average as well too, you can see the transportation average is obviously having a lots and lots of problem at this level, especially up through there, and we have obviously a little support through there. So Dow Jones transportation average does look like, if I draw a trend line up through there as well, say something going on, say through there. So you can see that this overall level through here, that's where we are right now. We did get a reversal and the volume spike, so we could see a bit more downside to come on there. If you look at, say, the weekly chart on this here, weekly chart, it actually is in this sideways channeling pattern. So that's what we see on there. And so yeah, we can see that obviously looks really weak. And one thing I want to share with you is looking at gold. So looking at gold, I want to bring this other chart up here, and I want to show you something. This is looking at gold. I want to bring up the daily chart now. This is the daily chart, and I want to share something with you that looks like to me we're getting ready for a reversal back to the high side. We're getting this type of sort of reversal. It's like what I call a bearish looking, but it's actually a reversal flag. So looks like we're starting to get the flag formation where we're getting a reversal. And if some of you who have actually watched my video based on the double stochastic, you can see here when the long term is down, and let me see if I can get a better pen here so we can get a different color. We'll go green, and we'll make sure that the width is a lot thicker. Say this one here. There, cool. So when the long term is down through here, and you start to get some sort of like a divergence when the long is down, you can see here that was that point there, almost double bottom through there. That was that turning point through there, and you can see we had a big run. Okay, we can't see any other time back on this chart at that time. Let me see if I can go back further than that and see if I can find any other times that it did do that. So if I go back to here, you can see long term down, Okay, you can see the short term is sort of coming up through here, and that was that point through there, and then we got the big reversal coming up. So looking at this indicator here, looking at where the market is right now, looking at where we are on the charts, it looks like it's trying to give us a reversal with a long-term down, short-term up. And if we start to get this divergence starting to come into play, and we start to get a break up, it does look like that gold's going to start to race up big time really quickly within the next couple of weeks. So that's the one thing I want you to keep an eye on for gold and looking at gold. So if we go back to, say, to the hourly chart, this is the, oh, that's the 6-day chart. Let's go to the hourly chart. Look at the hourly chart. You can see how we're sort of popped up on this trend line, and now we're here right now. And if we have a look, say, the weekly chart on gold, weekly chart, we can see that we're actually at this sort of, if I bring it up through to there, which is, you can see, connect through there, has support through there, support through there. We're almost at that level of support now, and especially on the weekly chart, we're getting ready to turn on the gold as well too. So on the weekly stochastic, so you can see every time the weekly stochastic got down here, a week or so later we actually had a turning point. So we're looking for a turning point in gold, and I do believe we're likely to see a race back up to the high side. And I would say, how far up? Well, if I go back to the daily chart, I would say we're likely to see at least a 50% retracement. So from here to here, then I would say we're likely to get a race back up towards at least the 106 to the 107 level. That's where I believe we're likely to get a race up. And I know that seems like a fair bit, but to me, it just seems like it wants to go there. And by having this setup, everything's looking very bullish, and I'm getting ready to put a trade on this one. So I thought I'd give you a heads up, guys, to show you what I'm looking at. Hope this helps you. And remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.